Howdy there once again, YouTube. My name is Ben Ferraiuolo, and I'm an amateur seismologist, a beginner amateur seismologist. There's still a lot of things I don't understand, who hopefully is going to try to make a career out of monitoring volcanic and tectonic hazard areas, possibly with Pacific Northwest Seismic Network or the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, or many other places. I don't know where I would choose to work, but I'm hoping I could change the way a lot of the observatories and earthquake agencies report things. Hopefully I could change it from the inside, you know? We do have some earthquakes down in Soda Springs, Idaho, and at Yellowstone. The time period starts for these earthquakes at 0 UTC about on November 12th, 2018. First, I'm going to talk about the Soda Spring earthquake swarm. It's not too large, but some of the magnitudes were up there, around 3.2, 3.5. And some earthquakes up in the Yellowstone area near Maple Creek, and it appears a few near West Thumb as well. But first, please go check out Scott's new channel, the NW Geology Guy, the Northwest Geology Guy. He just uploaded a new video about the Seattle fault system. He's actually doing really well for his first few videos, guys. I'm really excited to see how his channel grows. It's going to be pretty cool. Also, please visit my website, https://monitorsize.weebly.com. for a seismic image archive for Lassen Peak, Long Valley Caldera, Newberry Caldera, Rainier, and Mount Hood, how to download seismic data, how to find certain networks and certain stations, and much, much more. So, let's start with the Soda Springs activity first. So what I want to show you is I have the networks laid out for IW, US, WY, PB, for near the Yellowstone and Soda Springs area. As you can see right here. Okay, let's first go back to the earthquake site. Let's turn on terrain real quick. I'm going to zoom in just to show you where these earthquakes are occurring. They are occurring, if my computer does not freeze, please don't freeze, thank you. Okay, right next to Soda Springs, just east of Soda Springs, pretty much right where the September 2nd, 2017 Soda Springs earthquake swarm began, which I have always theorized to be magma intrusion. I have not been able to prove it yet, but I've always theorized that because of just how freaking large and how many of the large earthquakes there were. I mean, people who lived in this area were saying they were starting to get scared. It was definitely not a normal earthquake swarm that we usually see along tectonic faults. But I still have more research to do on that. But as you can see, AHID, here's Soda Springs right here, is very close. The swarm occurred right about here, and this is the closest station that I could find. AHID, again, in the US network. We're also going to download data from the FLWY station right here, and the MCID station right here. What is this station? YBE? Oh, it was shut off in 1995. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to download seismic data because I have not downloaded this data yet. Guys, I use this website almost every single day for all my data download needs. It's very quick, very easy, very user-friendly. I'm very happy they have something like this. Now, if I want to access seismic data from California, I go to the NCEDC Earthquake Data Center, which has pretty much the same type of data parameters like the IRIS kind that they have here, but IRIS does not have a batch request, which I use for Long Valley and Lassen Peak for my seismic image archive. Okay, so let's do US, AHID, 00, BHZ. See, this is the importance of knowing network, station, location, and channel codes. There are many different tools and things that can assist you in learning that. But once you get it down, it's very easy to remember. Even stations I rarely download data for, I still know their location, station, network, and channel codes. So, right now it's 3:10 p.m. Pacific time. So that'd be after daylight savings time ended, finally. It'd be 23:10, but I'm going to put 23:11 just to put a little end cap on there. Let's download that. Usually a download box pops up once you click the URL that you built, but it does not because I selected the option to have it not pop up, so it just now automatically downloads it, puts it into my folder. Next, I wanted MCID, right? So WY, MCID 01, EHZ. Yes, guys, it is this easy to find past seismic data, and you can go all the way back to the year 2000, I'm pretty sure. So almost 2 decades worth of data, pretty much. And let's see, WYMCID, let's do WFLWY00BHZ. Those are the 3 stations I wanted to use. All right, there we go. It is downloading. Let's go to Swarm. As you can see right here, we are in the program Swarm. Let's go to File. Let's open the file real quick. Open the 3 data sources that I downloaded. As you can see, they pop up right here. Let's first take a look at MCID real quick. And I screwed up, guys. I screwed up once again. This is the second time I've done this. I've had to redo this video twice, guys. Okay, I did the wrong time period. Let's go back and redo it just real quick. The time period I wanted is not the 12th at 00, or not the 13th at 00, but I wanted the 12th. November 12th at 00 UTC. There we go. IWFLWY. Download that. Come on, buddy. All right. WY MCID 01 EHZ for short period vertical. And then let's do, what was it? Yeah, US AHID 00 BHZ. Yes, again, guys, it is this easy to find seismic data. It's pretty easy. All right. Wait until it's down. It's done downloading. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. As you can see, they pop up on the side on Swarm. And let's go to MCID first. Let's move this up here and try to make this flush with it. That's not working. There we go. All right. So let's do a high pass 0.8 hertz filter. Turn off persistent rescale. Alright, so the first earthquake, let me go back to the earthquake site. First earthquake down here was a 2.3 at 22:38. Oh, that's just before the data timing. Oh, no, that's not. Oh, that's right at the perfect time. Okay, 22:38. 22:38. Where is 22:38? 22:38. Oh, my God, what is that? Okay, I'll look at that in just a second. Here it is, right here. All right, this earthquake you see right here, let's take a look at the spectrogram real quick. Now remember, MCID is quite far from this event. I'll show you the events that are occurring on the AHID monitor, which is closest to the earthquake swarm. Remember, this was a 2.3 at negative 3.4 kilometers in depth, so probably just right at the surface. Don't know how that could be, but that's what they're reporting. Whoa. Whoa, at 2246. What is that 2246? Nothing. I'm hoping that is a teleseism. Let me see. That does not look like a teleseism. Okay. Let's take a look at that in just a second. I will take a look at this and this on AHID, which was closest to the event. Here's the first large earthquake in Soda Springs, registered all the way to MCID and many other stations up in Yellowstone National Park. Even on MCID, which is quite far north, I'm guessing maybe 100 miles, a little less than 100 miles, 15,000 amplitude count. That is very strong. Mid-range frequencies, of course, because it's a regional earthquake. Let's just go through the rest of MCID real quick, because I do not want to dwell on MCID too long. We're going down through the day. Here is the second largest earthquake, which was reportedly, let's see, what was it? It was a 3.2 at 1.9 kilometers in depth. The first largest earthquake that I showed was a 3.3 at 5.0 kilometers in depth. So a lot of these are very shallow. As you can see, the depths right here, they're reported to be very shallow. The deepest one being 5.0, and the most shallow one being negative 3.4 kilometers in depth. So we got that one. Now there's an interesting event right here that I am going to review in just a second as well. I don't know what this is. It's a very long duration event showing on multiple seismographs. And it does appear that it is coming down from the Soda Springs area, but it is very peculiar. So let's check FLWY real quick. The helicorder is really messed up here. I don't know why. Let's go to high pass, enabled 0.8 hertz filter, persistent rescale off. So the large earthquake occurred. Let's see, let's just look at the two large earthquakes. 3.3 at 2352. 3.3 at 2352, which would be right about here. 2352, there it is right here. This is the first largest earthquake. The next one occurred at 1717, I believe. Let's see if we can find it on FLWY. Here it is right here. Here's the 3.2. Yeah, 3.3 or 3.2. All right, so we do have an interesting swarm going on, both a little bit of swarming up near the Maple Creek area in Yellowstone and down in Soda Springs as well. The magnitudes down in Soda Springs are, of course, much larger. Okay, now let's go to AHID. I don't know why I turned off MCID. I did not want to do that. Let's go back to MCID. I want to use this as a reference point because there are a few events that I really wanted to pay attention to. All right, 0.8 persistent rescale off. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back. The first one I wanted to look at was this emergent event. Emergent means it's slow building. And let's see, that's an earthquake. Whoa. That's very interesting. That lasted a very long time with some very low frequencies. Look at how long that lasted. Wow. Very interesting, and I will take a look at this too. First, I want to take a look at this, so let's go to AHID and go up. Let's set a 0.8 high-pass filter, 0.8 hertz. Now let's get to looking at some of the data. Okay, so what was it again? I keep forgetting. 2225. I'm just going to set this one over here and put this one right here. So is that 2225? Let's look at 2225. 2225, which would be right about here. Not seeing it. Not seeing it at all. Am I at the right spot? Am I at the right spot? Yes, I am. 2225, right before the 13th started. 2225, yep, I'm not seeing that low frequency event. So I don't know what that was, but it is not showing down here in Soda Springs. Here is one of the earthquakes. This was at 2239 and was reportedly a 2.3 at negative 3.4 kilometers in depth, so right up there at the surface. Note how long the earthquake lasted with mid-range frequencies. Let's look at the spectra real quick. Very interesting swarm going on. Yeah, definitely majority of the frequencies, probably around 2-3 hertz, with almost all of the frequencies being below 5 hertz. So, I think you can categorize this as a low-frequency earthquake. Whoa. I think you can, because most of the dominant frequencies are below 5 hertz, which I find is very interesting. Let's take a look at this one. Spectra. Let's look at the spectra. Log power, log frequency off. Definitely not a low-frequency earthquake, but did have somewhat mid-range frequencies, which is pretty interesting, since AHID is very close. And let's see, 40,000 amplitude count, definitely about a 3.2 or so. Wow, that's definitely a teleseism. That definitely looks like a teleseism. Let's go forward. 2 earthquakes in a row. That is not an earthquake. That did not look like one. Let's see. Wasn't there another interesting event I wanted to look at? Where was that? Was it this one? Oh yeah, 2239. Oh yeah, that was the earthquake we just looked at. But why did it last so long? Maybe there's 2 earthquakes at one time? I don't know. But the main thing I wanted to look at, first, let's look at this earthquake on AHID, which was at 1717 about. And this is off into November 13th. Here it is right here. This was the 3.2. The other one was labeled a 3.3, I believe. But the amplitude count is much different, so I'm thinking the other one was more like a 3.5 or a 3.7. Let's see, there's another earthquake. 2 of them within about, let's see, 1840, 30. Within about 1 minute, we had 2 earthquakes striking right there, right next to each other. That definitely looks like surface noise because it's emergent with high frequencies. Usually if you see a long emergent event with high frequencies, I mean, don't count it off if you see on multiple seismographs, but I'm just saying, usually if you see something emergent and it has pretty high frequencies, let's look at the spectrogram, yeah, that's usually surface noise, usually. But I wanted to look at, not the earthquake, but this event right here at 2212. 2212. Here it is, right here. Remember, this is persistent rescale is unchecked, so keep looking right here. The amplitude count will change in regards to what it is receiving. Notice this emergent event is not surface noise because it showed almost 100 miles north to Yellowstone. Look at that. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out just once. That is very interesting. Check that out. Let me turn on the spectrogram. It does have dominant low frequencies. Let's check out the spectra of this event. This might be a low frequency event. Some type of low frequency long period event, but I'm not saying anything for sure. Let's log frequency real quick. Definitely about 1.5 hertz, and we do have some high frequencies right there. So I don't know what this was, but it did show far away. Was kind of emergent, but I don't know what this was. So it is currently unknown what caused this event. It has mid-range frequencies, which I find is very weird. But it was seen on surrounding seismic stations, which I find is very peculiar. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that could be. Let me zoom out all the way just so you can kind of see. Yeah, very interesting. That's all screwed up. Let's log power real quick. Yeah, I have no clue what the heck that was. Okay, so let's look at the most recent data. Not seeing much. Not really many earthquakes for the past hour or so down in Soda Springs. Remember, this is the most recent data of me recording this, so probably by the time I get the video up tonight, there are probably going to be a few other earthquakes. But remember, downloading and finding seismic data is so easy. So easy. Now, we just looked at these earthquakes, and you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they look so small, Ben? Did you change something? Yeah, I did. Check it out. Hello. You know, people don't understand that the more data you have in the same size chart, the less detail you're going to see. Check it out. More data, more data, more data, more data, more data. And look, check this out. You can't even really see the earthquakes anymore, right? Well, now you can. And now you really can't. That's pretty much as far as I can zoom out at all. That is why I do not like the UNAVCO spectrograms at all. Because they show 24-hour period in pretty much this size of a frame, which is ridiculous. So that's pretty much it right now for the Soda Springs earthquake swarm. They are, again, currently reporting 6 earthquakes for this swarm. There was a 2.3 at negative 3.4 kilometers in depth, 3.3 at 5.0 kilometers in depth, 2.0 at negative 3.4 kilometers in depth, a 1.8 at 2.8 kilometers, 3.2 at 1.9 kilometers, and a 1.4 at 0.6 kilometers. Please keep your eye out for more swarms. And now let's move on to Yellowstone, just real quick. We had a little bit of swarming going on. There's a video, I think it was my most recent video that I uploaded, was talking about these earthquakes down here. They did report a few of them. Remember how they really weren't reporting much at all. And I said how it probably occurred closest to borehole 944. Well, borehole 944 resides right here, and it is the seismic station that resides closest to these earthquakes. I had a feeling these earthquakes were more in the lake, like right here, because their arrivals appeared at borehole 208 and YLA at the same exact time. But you can see that that can occur with these as well, because YLA, which is right here about, and borehole 208, which is right about here, is about the same distance from these earthquakes. So the arrivals looked like they arrived pretty much at the same time, and that's probably why. But we do have some microquakes appearing, I believe. Let's look at some of the magnitudes real quick. We do have a little bit of swarm going on in Maple Creek. The largest was a 1.1 at 10.3 kilometers in depth. Let's go down. Oh, there's a 1.4 at 4.9 kilometers in depth. Oh, which was reported to be north of Yellowstone Lake, right there. Now let's keep looking. 1.6 at 6.6 kilometers in depth, a 1.3 at 8.8, and a 1.2, and others are in the mid-range zeros. So, now let's find the seismic data real quick. I'm only going to be focusing on the Maple Creek earthquake swarm. So let's go to the data download website. I'm going to delete my recent data because I can just re-download it if I need it. I don't need it right now because I'm done. Let me quit out of these real quick. See, guys, you're actually walking through with me. Like, this is actually the stuff I do every single day for hours, guys. I do this stuff for hours. Now you can kind of get the idea how, because sometimes I tell people, yeah, I look through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of data every day, and they're like, how is that possible when there's only 24 hours in a day? Well, 24 hours per seismograph, so 2 seismographs, that'd be 48 hours, right? But it only takes me an hour to review maybe 100 hours worth of seismic data. But that's just reviewing. That's not like actual in-depth analysis like I'm doing. But now you guys kind of get the idea of what I do every day when I'm not recording videos. Because this is what I'm still doing, guys. Even if, let's say I don't record or upload any videos for a whole week, I'm still going to be doing this every single day. So what we're going to do, YMC is the station closest to this event, so we're going to use YMC EHZ. Let's see, right now it's 3:28 p.m., so let's do 23:30, just to top it off a little bit. So we got YMC on there. Now let's do the station for Hebgen Lake, which is YHL, but it does not have an SHZ station. You will notice right here. Let me show you real quick. This is Hebgen Lake. You can see some earthquakes. Okay. SHZ. Well, Ben, why don't you just use SHZ since it obviously shows the channel right here? All of the seismic stations in Yellowstone that you see say SHZ are not really short period stations. The ones that say EHZ are the ones that are actually short period stations. The ones that say SHZ, such as YFT at Old Faithful. Where's another example? Where is another example? Or YNE in the north entrance. Or YMR, Madison River. Or even YHL, again, say SHZ. That is because it is a broadband station. The original channel is HHZ. But what they do is they add a 1 Hz high-pass filter to change it into a quote-unquote SHZ channel. It makes it look more like a short period station, and it's better for, the uninitiated and people who don't really analyze seismic data like I do. They just look at the graphs. It's to make it look a little better, kind of. Now that is why, next time a large earthquake occurs, a large teleseism occurs, you will notice that the ones that say EHZ, you don't see as much quote-unquote waviness on the helicorders. But if you go to YMR or YHL or YFT and you look at the teleseism, it will look a little more wavy. Now let me show you an example of this. Let's go to November 9th, generate report. Let me show you an example of this. Okay, remember the 6.8 near Svalbard and Jan Mayen Island? Well, here is the trace, right? Oh, wait a second. That's not it. Hold on a second. Hold on just one mini tonka. Aha, I believe this is it. Here it is. Okay, here it is right here. This was the 6.8 in Jan Mayen Island. Notice how it seems more sharp. You notice that? And it doesn't really get too wavy until the end, all the way at the end. Well, let's go back and let's take a look at the SHZ channels. Notice how it starts quote-unquote wavy. You notice that? Do you see that? Isn't that interesting? Now let's go to YFT real quick. And it shows the same thing. Well, where's the P wave? Why doesn't it look like a sharp earthquake? That is because these are originally HHZ channels showing all frequencies, but a 1 Hz high-pass filter was added to filter this into an SHZ channel. That is why anything you see that says SHZ, I'm just talking about Yellowstone, guys. It could be different elsewhere, but I'm talking about just about Yellowstone. The SHZ channels are not true short period channels. I just wanted to let you know that. So, YHL, HHZ. Now we got the two instruments to look at. Alright. Gotta wait till it's done downloading. Okay, let's open file. Open the two data sources that I just downloaded. Let's add those. So we do have a little bit of swarm breaking out both near the Maple Creek area in Yellowstone and down near Soda Springs. Let's look at YMC first. Let me move this over real quick. There we go. Let me go all the way back. I believe, let's see, this one has 20. Yeah, this was the Soda Springs 3.3, I think. I'm thinking. So we did have some seismicity up here, 15,000 amplitude count, about mid-range frequencies. Let's do this. Let's do the spectra. Log frequency off. Okay, mid-range frequencies, of course. Definitely not a low-frequency earthquake. Definitely goes up to about 15 hertz. Let's go over here. Whoa. Yeah, let's do persistent rescale off. We do not need a high-pass filter for this. This one looks very interesting. Look at that. The P wave goes down. Very interesting. Okay, let's look at a few other ones. Let's see, that looks like surface noise because it's not appearing on local graphs. Seismicity started increasing on the 13th with the first earthquake at 11:18 UTC. We see this one right here, and it's screwed up once again. Log power, log frequency. There we go. Mid-range frequencies once again. So, we did have some more earthquakes. This one was about 2,000 amplitude count. I'm going to say more like 3,000. This one looks identical, but about double the size. Got a few more there. Got another one there. Another one there. Another one there. And then it slowed down for about an hour or so. We had another one there. This was the next earthquake, the 3.2 in Soda Springs, right there. Yep, 1718. The time difference proves it. And let's see, this looks like another regional earthquake, probably down in Soda Springs. There's another one. And then some very emergent event at Maple Creek. I don't know what this is. It barely shows on surrounding stations, so it's still up in the air. But something very interesting. Check this out. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so after this earthquake occurred right here, look at the spectrogram. Actually, why don't we just go through the spectrogram first? Notice how there were multiple other earthquakes with a weird emergent event right in the middle, which would be right here. Let's zoom in again. Look at the waveforms real quick. Check this out. It's very odd. And it has that emergent event right in the middle, which possibly could be another earthquake, another very small microquake. And then we have two more earthquakes occurring. Actually, look at this. Whoa. There might have been two earthquakes at once right there. Because, I don't know, though. I don't know. Yellowstone has been seeing some very weird earthquakes lately. Very weird. And remember, one of my blog posts actually about some of the earthquakes on, what was it, November 8th near Maple Creek, almost every single earthquake during that day had an exact dominant frequency of 4.9 hertz. I mean, that's exact. I mean, nothing I've ever heard of can do that. Like, just exact each time. Very weird. So we did have some earthquakes. Let me zoom out a little bit. Here's another one right here. And remember, this is the most recent data as of the time recording this. This is 23:26. So remember, 3:26 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 4:26 p.m. Mountain time, is the last section of the data stream that I am able to get because it's about 3:35 p.m. Pacific time right now. So this is the most recent data that I was able to find. This is interesting right here at 2212. I believe that was that same strange mid, kind of low to mid frequency range emergent event, but I thought it was surface noise, but surface noise doesn't make any sense because it showed up hundreds of miles away. So we do have some swarming, guys. Where do you think this is heading? Swarming has been very sporadic lately at Yellowstone. Like, for example, near the borehole 944 area, which is south of West Thumb, I thought a big swarm was about to break out, and it just stopped. It's very weird. Swarms have been going, and then they just fizzle away. Swarms have been going, and they just fizzle away. So we'll see where this is heading. This could be a sign that a bigger swarm is approaching, but I don't know. So it's November 13th, 2018 at 3:36 p.m. Pacific time right now. Let's just refresh the world page real quick. Nothing too major happening. The fire in California is still burning, which personally I do not believe was originally started as a fire. I don't know. And don't ask me what I think caused it, because I have no idea what caused it at all. The fire in California. I have no idea. But near Paradise, California, they were having some strange low frequency vibrations in the background, but they weren't volcanic. They almost looked synthetic, kind of, but they didn't have many surrounding seismic stations. Most of the stations in that area were actually down. But I looked at some of the satellite imagery for the original starting point of the campfire, and man, it looked like a volcanic plume going into the sky, which I thought was weird, because get this. Usually wildfires start from like a small area, right? They have to. That's pretty much how all fires start. From a small central location, and it spreads out quickly or slowly or whatever. Let's say a cigarette butt or an ember from something or whatever causes the fire. But that would slowly spread. This happened immediately. But yeah, this one, the plume was so large. I mean, it literally looked like something erupted out of the ground. But I checked the seismic data. There was no really explosions at all near the area. You would even see it on one seismograph near the area. You don't need to cross-correlate that if you already have the source, if you already know where it's coming from. But the thing is, so it's not a volcanic eruption. It was not a volcanic eruption. Some people were saying that. It's not. But I don't know what caused it, and I'm not going to say it's a normal wildfire, because to me, when you see a plume like that jet up into the sky really high, guys, I mean, it looked like someone stuck their finger up. and you could see a shadow from that finger. I mean, it was pretty good sized plume that went up instantly, almost right when the fire started. How is that possible? That would have to mean that a large area immediately combusted in order for that plume to get enough velocity to reach that high into the sky and cast a shadow down the valley. That would mean that it was not from a central source like an ember or a cigarette butt or whatever. That shows that there was a large area that just combusted immediately. I mean, it may not have been too large of an area, but I'm talking, it's not the size of a cigarette butt. It wasn't the size of an ember, you know? It didn't start in like a tiny, tiny central location like that. It must have been maybe a few hundred yards, maybe half a mile, who knows, maybe even a mile, just combusted at once. How is that possible? And I don't understand how it intensified. So I know everything's dry up there. I understand that. But this is too much. I mean, it's too severe for a real life wildfire. I mean, it just, to me, the characteristics and the math and the common sense and the physics behind it don't make any sense to me. But I still don't know what caused it, so I'm not giving a cause, you know? Some people are saying it's the directed energy weapons. I still don't know if it's that. Some people were saying volcanic eruptions. I already proved that it really wasn't a volcanic eruption, unless it's one of those silent eruptions. I don't know. But we're going to have to keep our eye on that, because it was very, very interesting. Also, please check out Scott's channel, the NW Geology Guy. He just uploaded a new video. Very good video. Also, check the description box below for the link to the 2008-2009 publication on the Yellowstone Lake magma intrusion event underneath Yellowstone Lake, which even the professionals admitted it was most likely the first geophysical observation of a failed superficial volcanic event at Yellowstone, which means it was possibly the first time humans have ever witnessed a failed volcanic eruption at Yellowstone. They also put in there the possibility it could have been some major hydrothermal event. But as you will see in some of my videos in my channel, just go to my channel, quick videos, and you just go through my videos and look for anything that talks about Yellowstone Lake. There were multiple harmonic resonance events detected during that swarm, and that's not, you know, that's very interesting, because in order for something to resonate like that, it would have to be viscous. Like, water usually doesn't act like that. It would have to be a very viscous, very thick fluid like magma in order to create a very low frequency event that we saw. And it was definitely coming from Yellowstone Lake, especially if you use all the surrounding stations, put it into waves. Look at the P wave. It started right at Yellowstone Lake and spread outwards. It wasn't a teleseism. Happened multiple times. Actually, why don't I pull up an example of that real quick? Why don't I? Just real quick, just to show you guys. But I've already done a few videos on this, so just go into my YouTube channel, quick videos. Let's go to Yellowstone. Let's see, December 2008-2009, Yelly Lake. I believe it was this one. No? I'll just open both of them. Oh, well. Okay. So what you're about to see came from Yellowstone. Actually, one of my videos that I uploaded actually has the audio. Yes, seismic audio of this event, guys. Yes, seismic audio is a real thing. Here's the earthquake swarm. Some of the data was missing, sadly, but thank God it wasn't missing for the most interesting part. Now, let me do persistent rescale off. High pass, 0.8 hertz filter. There we go. Here's the first resonance event. Notice that. Notice how even when I zoom out very far, you can tell it is a low frequency event. Let's go here. Check that out. You could tell that it was high frequency at the beginning, but the strongest frequencies lasted quite a while. And you can tell, look at these peaks. Look at that. Definitely some type of resonance event. Look at how they're almost equally spaced, meaning harmonic. And this definitely was something resonating, like a high viscous fluid. It definitely had to be. Log power, log frequency. Oh, whoops. There we go. Yes, check that out. And I already proved that it was coming from the Yellowstone Lake area. And it's something they did not talk about in the publication. I am unsure why. But those of you who know me and my channel, I've talked about this a lot. And here's another one right down here. I actually did the audio for this in one of my videos a while back, so go check that out if you want. Here's another one right here. Check that out, guys. That is just, man, boggles my mind. This was the strongest one, I believe, out of all of them. Again, tectonic activity does not do this. And plus, they already admitted, guys, this isn't me. I mean, I found this. They don't really talk about these resonance events at all. But it's not me talking about the magma intrusion, guys. They really said the most likely explanation was a dike intrusion of magma underneath Yellowstone Lake. Because the largest earthquake, let me try to find it. I don't know if it was this one. I don't think it was that one. Where was it? Uh-oh, I lost it. Oh well, but they said the largest earthquake, which I believe was a 4.2, was an explosion. It had a 50% tensile crack opening source, which they determined through a full waveform inversion to be a magmatic expansion component, meaning that there was pretty much an explosion underground. A big crack opened, guys. And as the earthquakes migrated northwards and upwards, the ground was splitting sideways. Half the ground was moving towards the east and half the ground was moving towards the west, while the ground was moving upwards. What does that sound like to you? A dike intrusion of magma. And they said the same thing. And even Jamie Farrell, which is one of the main head seismologists for the University of Utah, he was the one that helped put together that publication. So this isn't just me saying it's magma intrusion, guys. The professionals actually admitted it, which is kind of rare nowadays. So remember to always, if you see an earthquake swarm at Yellowstone and you see these resonance events with low frequencies, dominant low frequencies of around 1.5 to 2 hertz, then you know something definitely is going on. But check this out. Notice how oh man, I keep doing that. Notice how there was a spike in frequency at the beginning. Most of these resonance events, these harmonic magma resonance events, are starting with a high frequency just at the beginning, and then the remainder is the low frequency. To me, that shows that something cracked open, or it broke apart some rock as the magma escaped out of the cavity, resonating the vibrations upwards. And yes, harmonic resonance is a real thing, guys. But yeah, seriously, if you want to go check out that publication, please do. It is one of my favorite seismological publications out there. It really has a lot of great information. So, that is it for today, guys. Remember, the truth is considered hate or fear to those who hate or fear the truth. Don't forget to check out Scott's new channel, the NW Geology Guy. And please visit my website, https://monitorsize.weebly.com. And I'll always stand for the truth, guys. I'll present to you the data, give you my opinions. I really thank you all for sticking with me for this long. And you know, I am hoping to have a career in seismology, and not many other people on YouTube that talk about earthquakes and volcanoes actually say they want a career in seismology, because they're already getting money from YouTube when they monetize their videos. But, you know, that's just them. Remember, downloading seismic data and analyzing it in top-notch seismic and analytic software is easy, guys. Remember, I have only been doing this type of analysis since late July of this year. That's what, 4 months? That's only, well, yeah, like 4 months or so. That's it. And I already can access most seismic data through the world. I mean, there are many areas of the world I still have such a hard time finding seismic data for. But the United States, especially Alaska, Hawaii, Yellowstone, many of the high hazard areas, I can find data for, like, instantly. So, if any of you need data, or any images, or you want me to analyze something for you, or anything, just please send me an email or hit me up on my website. Thank you guys for all you do. God bless, and you have a great day.